Okay, same day, still August 23rd, 2021. I sure like the color of these peas. This time, I'm going to try oxygen absorber. Okay, because I've done one case just vacuum sealed of this stuff, where, as you read, you know, when you buy this stuff, other people's opinions, a lot of people recommended using an oxygen absorber on this one just to extend the shelf life, right, for an extra few more years if you wanted to do that, versus 5 years. You might get 8 to 10 years if you use an oxygen absorber. That's what I read. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm just... these are the organic chickpeas. Okay? I'm probably going to put 150 cc because it's about 100 cc per jar, right? I figure there's a bit more air in here because you got bigger gaps, right? So 150 cc in this. I think you can do that with oats as well, right? I did one vacuum seal, remember? And I did say I was going to try this. Now, sometimes when you're trying something new, you know, it doesn't necessarily feel comfortable for you, right? I'm trying to just distinguish if that's a yellow in there. I don't know if I'm seeing yellow. Or like it says, oh, I think this is 100 cc. No, 300 cc with 100 quantity, right? I think. Anyway, so I'm going to do, what is that, 12, I'm going to do 36 jars with something here. So hold on. Okay, so basically what I'm doing now is I put all the oxygen absorbers in all the jars. I'm just using 100 cc per quart. If you're doing like an oat of some kind, a rolled oat of some kind, then you want 150 cc. Right? I don't think you need to vacuum seal. If you leave the oxygen absorber long enough in the jar, it should pull down the lid anyway. But I'm doing both. I'm here, I've got the stuff all out, right? If there's any oxygen in there, the oxygen absorber is going to suck it up because it's a different element than air, right? So not only am I taking out air, but I'm also taking out oxygen, right? I really want to look like, they're just so nice. These are nice. Nice and green. So I'm trying really hard to preserve them as best as I can. And I paid, what, $100 for these things, right? So, and then after I did that, oh, you see it? They're getting kind of, I think they're a little warm. I don't know, people. I tried, you can see what I did after I worked as fast as I can. But I can kind of feel them, right? So maybe if I put them over here, it won't be so cool. It doesn't take long for them to start heating up, that's for sure. That's why they say, work fast. Oh, jeez. So, right, whether they'll be good or not, I don't know. But I've got extra packs here, right? I put them in everything. I put them in the chickpeas, the peas, the chickpeas, and that stuff, the quinoa. I also put them in there too. So we'll see. That's all you. Some of these things you just have to go through it to learn, right? If I did this enough times over a period of years, I'd let you know what my opinions were on it in terms of how well it stores the food, right? So that's what I'm doing right now. Right, I put the lids on of everything, but because I'm doing what I'm doing, right? There's a moth. Where'd you come from? Here's my dinner. You can't get in there. So everything already has an oxygen absorber in there. And I put the rim on, and now I'm taking off the rims, and you can see what I'm doing with the vacuum sealer. The other thing I wanted to mention is When you see a lid like that that's been compromised, do you see? Okay. That could potentially start to oxidize because, you know, there's that metal, right? So you don't use that, okay? And then I'm going to show you what Pastor Granny gave me. So hold on a minute. Okay, so this is a reason why people don't like to use these things, right? Now, I don't know if this is good anymore because when I rushed people as fast as I could. And honestly, I could start feeling it heating up just a little bit. Just a little bit. It wasn't a lot. And, I mean, obviously, I vacuum sealed it, right? I mean, I did the best I could. I did 3 cases of jars, 12 jars per case, 36 jars, right? Now, whether this is still good or not, I don't know. Obviously, it's a different color. So what, did I just waste my money? Right? I don't know. Right, where is it? Just, see? See, these are supposed to tell you that it's good. But just for that little amount of time that I used it for, they started to change. Right? This is not doing anything now. I don't feel nothing on this. This is one left open. Anyway, as you can see, so now I just have to put labels, right? And I'll put H2O AB for oxygen absorber, right? So I know what's in there. Plus I vacuum sealed them.
Okay, is it playing?
It says record with
yes,
a red
it's
dot.
recording.
Okay.
Okay, people, so, yeah. We rebuilt the rocket stove. My Nana's up there watching. Jude is here, and we're just doing a barbecue, right, Jude? Jude, you can just talk.
No. Alright.
Okay, so, we're just doing a barbecue. We have some hot dogs.
I used to hold these cameras. And I love these cameras. I really do. So there's the fire stove.
Rocket stove.
Yeah, rocket stove.
Now we have to put this guy in there.
Yeah, I tried to give him ideas, but he didn't follow my ideas, so.
Well, we can't put it in the top. I tried to warn him. If we do that, that thing will blow up like a bomb. It'll go like bombing the whole way.
Cut. So as you can see, he's doing what he needs to.
I'm gangsta. $2. I'm gangsta.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh man, that's what's sharp. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. So that piece has to go out. Is it actually recording?
Yes, it is. Okay. I don't really use these cameras, so I want to make sure it's actually recording.
Why did you say you want these cameras then?
Because I used to.
I should just turn it off. We'll do it one more time.
Okay, so now it's August 25th, going at 10 o'clock at night. As you can see, this is what? Purple yam? Isn't that what it's called? Purple yam. I'm shredding it. I'm blanching it. I'm dehydrating it. Pastor Granny came by and gave me a whole box in a bag. Hold on, I'll show you. See? This. Okay, so now it's 12:30 at night. Well, in the morning now. I don't know, people. Amari had an appointment, well, today, right? To go to the children's hospital to see the hip doctor, right? And like, he's on this hip program, right? They wanted me to sign him up on it and all this other stuff, so I did. I don't know if you can hear me here. Right. Just hold on a minute. Okay. So, in all the time that, everything's been going on, right? I've used the transportation, I guess it's a voucher or something, only once. Right? In terms of when he went for his MRI. Right? Because they put him to sleep, so I guess it got approved for that. And then one time Tisha took him by bus, right, to the children's hospital for an appointment with the hip doctor, right? And it was like she was gone like 5-6 hours. By the time you go there, run around in there, and then come back, right? It was like going on 5.5 hours. Almost 6 hours. On the bus. And SkyTrain and whatever, right? It's a long way away, right? And then one time I went again, and it cost me $150, $75 each way in taxi. Okay? So anyway, they want to see Amari because they haven't seen him for a long time because of all this COVID crap, right? The last time they had a little Zoom thing, right, with their masks on. Because there was 2 of them, so they had to wear masks on a Zoom call. Right? That's... right? Okay, whatever. If I felt that Amari needed to be rushed off to the children's hospital to go see the hip doctor because Amari was in pain, trust me, I would be on it. But Amari's not in pain. But Amari is getting stronger, right? I pick him up and he's like holding himself perky and, he's moving around and, he's like... Anyway, so because the hip doctor hasn't seen him for so long, basically because of this COVID crap and what the government's been doing, right? They want to see him. Okay. So they had an appointment for August 16th. The paperwork for the transportation got filled out. The woman that does that stuff was working on it. But then the doctor's office, they canceled the appointment. Right? And they made it for the 26th of this month. Instead of the 16th, they changed it to the 26th. Okay. So, now I have to redo the paperwork for this transportation. Okay? So, I'm trying to do that in terms of phoning whoever I need to phone, right, to make sure it's getting done, because, it doesn't go through, you end up having to pay $150, and I'm going to get Amari's medical records with the imagery of the MRI, which is costing me $150, okay? Right? So I've already budgeted in $150 to get his medical files with the MRI imaging that they did on him at the children's hospital. Right? He, from my understanding, being on the hip surveillance program, qualifies for that, what is it called? Transportation. But I guess not, because basically what's happened is for the last week, really, I've been phoning and trying to get this paperwork resubmitted, right? Even though it was already submitted once. But I'm trying to get it with the new date. Anyway, a week goes by, 4 or 5 phone calls to social services that approve that stuff, 4 or 5 phone calls to the doctor's office, right? So now we're into today. So we're on the 11th call now, right? Because the appointment is tomorrow. Because every time I call, they can't find anything. Nothing's been submitted. They don't have the number, right? In terms of the service request number, right? Because nothing was submitted, even though I asked several times different people to, do that, because I can't do that, people. It's not something that I'm capable of doing, right? And, okay. So, long story short, I end up having to talk to the, I don't know. I don't know if I wouldn't say it was the supervisor, but it was somebody that approves this stuff in terms of the transportation, right? Because we're on, the last day kind of thing, right? And anyway, they phoned me back, and the woman, I recorded a little bit of it. I didn't, just halfway through the conversation, I was just like, fuck. I just started recording it because, first of all, she was so argumentative. She tried to make me feel bad for asking for transportation to the children's hospital, right? Because it's the doctor that wants to see him because he hasn't seen him for a while now. It's not my fucking fault, right? In terms of, I didn't ask them to do a Zoom. That's what they wanted to do, right? Okay, fine, whatever, right? Like I said, if Amari was in a, crying or whatever, upset, I'd be like banging on the door, let me in. But he's not, right? I'm trying to avoid surgery. I'm not trying to rush it here, right? I would like to not have him have it at all, okay? But, I might not have too many options with that because you're dealing with ligaments and stuff, right? Anyway, and she just being down and out rude to me, telling me to take a bus. I said, take a bus. He said, it'd be like 5 hours. No, it's only an hour and a half to get there from Surrey. It's like she has a bus schedule right beside her or something, right? I said, an hour and a half. Okay, well, that's 3 hours. Hour and a half there, hour and a half back. And that's assuming that you don't run into any problems, right? And of course, you're going to be at the hospital for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So by the time you get home, right, that's 3 hours. You can tack in another 2 hours with all the running around in the hospital and all that shit, right? That's like a 5-hour fucking stint on public transit, sky trains and a bus. It's not just simply take a bus. You have to transfer like several times from here to get to there. And I'm like, well, it was approved on the 16th as far as I know, and then it got canceled. The appointment was canceled, right? And now I'm like, right? Like, last time you did this was in 2019. I said, yeah, that's when, he had his MRI, right? Oh, well, it's my job to protect the taxpayers' money. That's what she's saying to me. Take a bus. I said, take a bus? Well, it's not like, he can walk. I said, yeah. She goes, well, he can walk. I said, no, he can't walk. I said, he can't walk. Right? I said, he'll never walk. Right? And, what else did I say? Oh, my God. Like, I just couldn't wrap my head around how rude she was and how insensitive she was and how she was so-called protecting the taxpayers' dollars, right? When I'm like, yeah, well, it was the public union sector with their healthcare staff who basically put Amari in this position. Oh, well, it's not in the file. It doesn't say that in the file. And I'm like, yeah, of course not. Because, we know the government just thinks it's fucking entertainment, right? They can injure, they can do whatever they want, people. And then they treat you like shit. Seriously, as if they didn't make my fucking life hard enough as it is. Right? And now they wanting me to take a bus. As they're propping up fucking rude fucking immigrants. Those little mopeds that they drive around in, they're the same color of what Joan was driving around in. And whatever the government gave Joan costed $10,000. She had a little motorized fucking scooter or something. I don't know what it was, but it was a $10,000 motorized something that was the same maroon color that those guys next door are driving around with their little mopeds. So that tells me that the government fucking paid for it. Because they're not required to go to work, remember? Right? They come to Canada and they're not required to go to work at all for a whole year, at least. Right? As they have everything handed to them. Okay? And then they, oh, well, I'm just able to put me on just long-term disability, you know, because I came from a war-torn country and I've got post-traumatic stress syndrome and I can't fucking work. So, you know, give me this and gimme. But yet government won't help to get Amari to the children's hospital? Yeah, okay. When it was the government and their workers, many of them, immigrant workers who injures the Canadian-born people. Because they come in with racist fucking attitudes. Okay? And they teach their kids this. Just like my landlady. Oh, we don't let the boys talk with the girls. We don't care who the boy is. Because we got plans for our kids. They're all going to grow up to be lawyers, doctors, and teachers. Okay. So you segregate them at a very, very, very early age. And they end up remaining that way basically for the rest of their lives after the fact. These ones over here, they just geeked up all the kids and got them to fucking, I don't know, start attacking Andre by rolling up with their little bikes because they have bikes out there, right? And they're always having people come over and visit and stuff with their kids, right? Well, there was a couple of kids that are a little older than Andre, maybe 12 years old. Two of them rode up on a bike in the front yard, stood on the curb, picked up a rock, threw the rock at Andre, then walked into the yard, picked up the rock, walked back out to the curb, and dropped the rock on the curb as they're calling Andre jerk face, idiot, and to fuck off, and then throw grapes at him. This is what my neighbors are teaching their kids, people. This is what my government is propping up. And then we wonder why we get these Muslim no-go zones. Because they don't want to come in to the countries that they migrate in and to be able to be fucking decent human beings and to get along. It's very obvious, okay? Like Andre's 10 years old, right? Now he needs to be worried about a band of boys as they learn from their dads how to be bullies as they drive around on government-sponsored fucking mopeds that the taxpayers pay for. But I'm being told to take a bus to the children's hospital so they can cut the shit out of my grandson's hips. After it was them, their kind, who injured him. Oh, but it's not on the file. Well, I know it's not on the file because the government thinks it's just entertainment. I feel like I was set up for this shit, okay, with this, you know, okay, with 16th, everything was in motion, right? The paperwork was all fucking submitted, it was filled out, then all of a sudden, the appointment was canceled, and then it was just one big runaround for a whole fucking week, right? You know, I'm standing on the, holding on the phone for an hour here, an hour there, hour, and then I get this bitch saying, well, it's my job to protect the taxpayers' money, you take a bus. I'm like, whatever. Whatever. As I got fucking new neighbors throwing rocks at my grandson. And they're walking in my yard after they've done it. And smirking and calling him names. And then still not satisfied with that. And then freaking throw grapes at him yet. Because the dads don't know how to communicate like normal adults. That's why, people. Obviously, I'm upset. At 1:45 in the morning. So anyway, I canceled the appointment. Right? Because I'm not paying $150. Right? And then another $150 to get medical records that I shouldn't have to pay for to begin with. Right? I didn't pay for Schmay's at the Surrey Memorial Hospital. Why should I have to pay for Amari's? I don't know why, but I do. Right? So it's good. Appointment's going to be for November. Oh yeah, that's what that worker was telling me. I need to go to the doctor and get a note. I said, get a note? Well, yeah, you need a note to say that you can't take a bus. I said, what? So you can set me up for failure? Say I'm incapable of looking after my grandson because I can't take a fucking bus? I didn't say fucking, but basically, for all the running around for the last week, right? Right? Being led down the garden path, right? And then you turn around and slap me in the face, right? Remind me that it's only an hour and a half to get there by bus. I don't know. They can spend $7,000 a month on those people next door, buy them fucking mopeds and all this other fucking shit, let them run around antagonizing the neighborhood with their religion and their up-to-the-up ways, right? And God knows what else that they're doing. But you can't help the very child that basically your kind, in general, destroyed his life, people. They destroyed his life. And now they want to fucking cut him open. And play games while they do it. Like, you're stupid. The world is so fucking stupid. You're going to take a happy little boy and you're going to make him completely fucking miserable where he can't fucking move, do nothing, and quite possibly be in a worse situation than when you first cut him open. And nobody will be held to account for nothing. Because they're too busy protecting the taxpayers' dollars. Yeah, okay. Yeah, go talk to the fucking doctor that had Shimei on a machine for 9 days. No, sorry, who had Shimei on a bed for 9 days? The machine was just paraphernalia. It was just a prop. It was something to fool you, to make you think that they were doing something. Anyway, I don't want to go on with it. I'm just letting you know what's going on. Right? I got strange kids that I don't even fucking know what they look like coming into my yard throwing rocks at my grandson and grapes and calling him names. And they're coming in twos, not just one. Okay? Because for whatever fucking reason, my neighbors seem to think that they're so much better than the fucking Canadian people that they depend on. While my grandson gets the short end of the stick. How about that? Okay? Oh boy. So, these things here kind of have to blanch them. Or at least bake them. But because these were given to Pastor Granny, and then she gave them to me, you know, you have to peel them and really feel if they're good. Because, you know, it could start be going, and if you got it in the oven with the peel and everything cooks up, I would prefer to do that, but they're not as fresh as I'd like them to be in order to be able to do that. Because obviously blanching them in water, they're leaching nutrients, but it also preserves the nutrients. So ideally, I would think I would prefer to bake it in the oven and then, but in this situation, because they're not as fresh as we would like them to be for that situation, I'm just blanching them. I'm doing 2 different sizes in terms of shredding. These ones are a bit bigger, you can see that. I'm dehydrating, and then I'm going to vacuum seal, and I'm going to consider myself to be very grateful and blessed to have this stuff, people. Okay? Because the way our government's carrying on right now, come November, who fucking knows? Like I say, I feel like the sharks are, I feel like whatever happened this last week over this transportation thing, I just feel like it was just a setup, okay? Because they sprung it on me at the last minute, right? Like, I have to be there tomorrow, but it never got approved, so I'm not going, right? I'll go in November. I already tentatively booked in a new appointment, right? And if I have to, because they won't pay for it in November with a doctor's note, I'll pay for it then. At least I'm prepared for it. This time around, you know, I'm paying $150 for medical records that I should just technically have access to. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. As my government, like I said, is propping up fucking criminal activity and fucking bigotry and racism and just hatred, right? Aminosity, just the whole 9 yards, right? And then we wonder why our old people are mistreated in these fucking care homes. I already told you why, people. I've been telling you, okay? Now they're going after the kids more. That's all. That's all they're doing. So I don't know what's going to happen to me. Or anybody else in my family, for that matter. It's pretty messed up right now. What did they say? You can't come to the hospital unless you've had your inoculation. I'll be like, it ain't happening. What are they going to do then? Well, the taxpayers paid for your shot. Trudeau bought 600 million doses to get us through over the next 3 years for 36 million people to stay safe. I'll be like, okay. Yeah, right. Safe. You don't have to go anywhere in order to not feel safe. You just have to wait for it to move into your fucking neighborhood. Right? Like, it's stupid. Now I'm worried about little 12-year-olds running around wondering what the hell they're doing out there. Because their parents are such good role models. It's true. It's true. Anyway.
Taxis are expensive. Our mandate is most economical.
Okay.
And we require a doctor's note for provide taxis.
I have conflict with my doctor, ma'am. It's not like I can go ask my doctor for a note just so that I can get assistance for transportation when I've already had it. Okay, this...
It's a case-by-case basis. You haven't had a taxi since 2019.
Well, yeah, because I don't go to the children's hospital that much. Thank God my grandson isn't that, well, he's severely disabled, but it's not like he's on a feeding tube or anything. I mean, we're going to be, they've done their x-rays on his hips and...
It's sitting on a bus. It's sitting on a bus. That's not, it's most economical. Of course, everybody wants to take a taxi. It's easy, but it's not most economical, and it's also not always medically required.
Well, it is for him right now because the doctor wants to see him.
Well, the doctor can see him when he gets there on the bus. Like, that's not...
Okay, so what's your name again, ma'am? Yeah, but this is new information. I've never been told this before, okay? Like, I don't, it's not computing with me.
This is 2019 was the last time you got a taxi because he was sedated.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, couldn't walk.
He can't walk. That's the point. That's why he's going for hip surgery, ma'am. We're going to go discuss hip surgery. That's a very important... He doesn't walk. He can never walk. That's the point. He can never walk, ma'am. Like, he's severely disabled. Right? That's what I'm saying.
We require the note from a doctor. So if you could call BC Children's when they're faxing in confirmation of the appointment, perhaps.
So are you going to refuse each and every time I go to the children's hospital from this point forward? Is this what you're saying? Unless...
I'm saying in order to provide a taxi, you require a medical note from a physician
I can't take a bus. So you want me to look like I'm incompetent in order to be able to get assistance, basically. That's setting me up for failure. That's basically what you're saying.
No, I'm saying when we are providing taxis for people, it has to be medically required.
It's medically required that he sees the doctor.
He has an appointment that he requires
So in other words, what you're offering then is null and void. It's not even a service. Right? It's not even a service. You have no service from this point forward. That's basically what you're telling me.
If you can't provide that note, I guess so, yes.
Well, the only reason you'd want the note is to make me look incompetent.
The only reason I want the note is to fulfill the requirements of my job and have the filed to support the decisions that I make in issuing taxpayers' money.
Right. And you do realize that my grandson was injured in a public hospital with public employees.
No, I do not.
Well, yeah, he was, ma'am, and now I'm having to pick up the broken pieces.
That is not documented on the file.
Well, of course not, because the government doesn't like to take responsibility for those types of things. Right? So basically, you're just telling me that there is no service available from this department any longer unless I go to my doctor and say that I can't take a bus. Who? My grandson? He can't. He's in a wheelchair. Like he doesn't walk. He'll never walk. Right. You're just preparing him just to be swept along. Okay. Thank you so much.
Nana? No? Can I have this last pizza? No.
Okay, so next day, finely shredded, okay, dries fast. Now after you go like this and you break everything up, okay, you have to break it all up, right? You put it back in the dehydrator because there's going to be little pieces that aren't going to be quite dry. So, okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm not going to drag out this video for very long, right? I mean, obviously we're featuring, what is it, purple yam, purple sweet potato, right? Thanks to Pastor Granny. So, but, you know, if you made it this far into the video and you're still watching, you have to, you know, understand that those people next door, they don't look too traumatized, people. They really don't. Okay? And considering the family dynamics in terms of, I got strange kids rolling up in my front yard on their bikes from next door visiting, right? Traumatized people from a war-torn country throwing rocks at my grandson, walking into my yard, picking up the rock, and then walking back out of the yard, and then dropping the rock, and then standing there throwing grapes at my grandson, and then calling him a jerk face, an idiot, and to fuck off. Okay. You don't seem too traumatized to me. We're the ones who are traumatized. I have to live here now, next door to that. And what? Worry? Is that it? Worry? When it was a shack, I didn't worry, people. I really didn't. When those Punjabi men were living over there, I didn't worry, people. I really didn't. These people move in and they haven't even been there for a fucking month, and I'm already worried. Think about it. And they're the ones getting preferential treatment because they're the ones suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. I'm just saying. I want people to really understand the politics that is going on around here. So these are still damp. So halfway through the drying process, you have to break them up and spread them out again. Okay? And now this time, these ones I blanched. Only because I have them, right? And it's better to blanch them or bake them. In this situation, because of the state where some of them are, you know, you don't necessarily know what's under the skin. So you kind of have to peel it and cut off the parts that you don't want. I think and my oven's broken. I'm still waiting for my Element in the mail. Anyway, I'm thinking to attempt to bake some either in my son's oven downstairs, or I can maybe try this little convection oven after I cut and peel and, you know, prep them, right? And then just put them on a low bake, right? Like maybe 300, 325, right? With just a little bit of water at the bottom. And soften them up from the inside out, right? You know, cooked, right? So, hoping not to lose so much nutrients. Because I found that blanching them, you know, it leached out a lot of nutrients. Where baking would bring it together. Either or, it is recommended that you either bake them or boil them, like blanch them, right? Otherwise, if you dehydrate them raw, they're not going to last as long as you would like, and their color is going to change faster, and their taste apparently changes faster, and so, I'm just saying. Right? So I don't think I'm going today downtown. Right? Like I said, I have to pay $150 for Amari's medical stuff. Right? And I told the person that helps me with that, you know, with the paperwork, right? That I don't abuse that service, right? Used it one time, right? And thank God Amari's not that, I don't like to say it, but disabled, because he's actually severely disabled, but he doesn't have a lot of health problems. Where other children, you know, they're on feeding tubes and they have other health issues, right? Amari doesn't. So that protects him from having to go all the time, right? He gets the standard eye check, you know, right? He has the, you know, the dietitian, which we know. I'm now reading things in terms of calories. I never used to care about calories before. Now everything I look at, I want to see how many calories it has. And then through food prep, of course, I'm now wanting to make my investment into foods that are like higher in calories in terms of food prep, right? You don't want food that you know, it's not very nutritional, right? Some things store longer than other things, like powdered milk. Whole milk doesn't store as long as non-fat milk. That's not to say you can't keep whole milk a little bit on hand, but it's hard to keep it in that dormant state for a long period of time. So I'm almost done this. I'll put these on the tray, and I'll probably start baking some, because I got this. I gotta get it out. I gotta move this box, right? You know, it's either use it or lose it. Compost loving it though. Already I can see. Oh, my hands are right. See? And then you put it back on the tray and continue drying until it's really, really dry. Okay, so this is going in my convection oven. Hey, I got my element today. I don't have my oven just yet. So, you're not technically, I don't think, supposed to cover up things when you put things in a convection oven, right? It doesn't cook very well. It takes an awful long time. So anyway, I'm just going to put this on. I'm going to start with 300. I just want to semi-cook them, right? You know, and then without leaching in terms of in water. Okay, so now keep in mind this was done in a convection oven with these things peeled, right? Just a little bit of water, but as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just sucking up that juice back into the, see, that's what I wanted, right? Now this is basically half cooked, right? Which I think is fine in terms of I wouldn't cook it much more, right? It's kind of been blanched, right? And I didn't lose any of the nutrients, and that was the goal. Okay? Obviously, when my oven gets fixed, you know, try it in the oven. Maybe it will be different because you can put a lid on it, and then it would be moister versus, you know, drying out, right? I mean, I suppose I could have put a lid or some tin foil over this when I had it in the convection oven, but it doesn't really penetrate through, right? But look at that. See how rich that is? Right? It's nice and thick. Alright, that's what I wanted, people. And now what's going to happen is, after I'm done doing this, I am going to let them cool for a bit, and then I'm just going to cut them into little cubes, and then I'm going to dehydrate them like that, okay? And I'm going to suck up all that juice as I go along, right? You can see what's happening here, okay? And I'm almost done this video. I just wanted to show you this part before I go and convert this over. You can see how it's kind of dry on the outside, but that's okay, because once you start cutting, I think what we're going to see here is juice on the inside. That's what I'm thinking. Let's just see, because you can see it's already right. That's cooked. That's cooked, people. Good. Okay, so I'm rushing, right? So I'm gonna finish this video right now, just saying what I'm gonna say, okay? The first thing is, I've got a couple of videos up on BitChute that I did not upload onto YouTube. That's the first thing, okay? So, I'm not talking to you, okay? So, these cut really nice. These cut really nice when they start cooling down, okay? So I'm going to do this again after this, right? Because I want to use up this box. I don't want it to go to waste. Anyway, so if you haven't seen them, they're up on BitChute, my last two videos, okay? I just can't deal with stress, people. So, okay? And then as for this one, you know, I know what some people are thinking, okay? Right? Just like, you know. So what I'm trying to say is, people, in the near future, I'm looking at $150 to get Amari's medical files with the MRI from the Children's Hospital. I have to pay for that, okay? Plus, I have to go, I guess, to my family doctor, because there's no other person that can do it. And I have to pay $250 for him to fill out my disability, my long-term disability form again. He's done it once in the past, a couple of years ago, I guess it was, but it got denied. And within that 1 week or 2 week of appeal process, he wasn't in his office, so I couldn't get him to go over it. So, of course, it just went off to the wayside, right? So when I asked him, to do it again, he says I have to pay $250. So you figure that out. That's $250, for me, right? $150 for Amari stuff. That's like $400, okay? And then what? $150, $150, $75 each way to go to the Children's Hospital? Yeah, okay. You know, I've used that service once. I've already paid once. Tisha already took him on a bus once, and it takes all day. Seriously, it really does. And it's not just one bus. You have to go over here and another, and a SkyTrain, and then another bus. It's just a really long haul, right? And if they can buy those people mopeds, okay, where every household has a fucking moped, I'm pretty sure they can help Amari. Alright? So just keep that in mind before you start casting judgment on me, as in terms of, well, you got all that money, you've been buying all that food, why can't you just cough it up? Well, first of all that food, in part, is only because of what our governments are doing, people. And I have no regrets, okay? And if I didn't have that money, there'd be no food in the house. At least I got food in the house. And I'm still working on it. And I didn't pay for this. This was given to me. Okay? I'm paying somebody to do work. I'm paying somebody to work on my gutters, people. Something that my landlord probably won't reimburse me on. Because last year, she paid $120, and all the guy did was just take out the leaves, and that was it. Where this guy, he's been coming around a little more, right? And he's actually making it where they don't leak. He's washed them. He's doing repairs on them. He's fixing the ones that are running a river, right? And I'm paying for the parts. By the time it's all all said and done, it will, it's going to cost me like $300 and some odd dollars. I'm going to hand it to my landlady, the receipt, and she'll be like, oh, but I did that last year. You did it. It is what it is. But I'm going to be paying him to do the stuff that those kids didn't want to do. I told him, like, it's simple, right? He goes, yeah, we'll just get up on it, right? So, he's going to be doing a lot of moving the wood around and cutting it. And I didn't expect the boys to cut the wood with the skill saw, but definitely move things up to the hen house area, whereas this guy will probably end up doing it between myself and him, right? Because that's all I have. But I have to pay him. So I'm looking at another $500 to pay, right? On top of what I've already been paying. Hold on a minute. Hydro wants their payment. I forgot. I do it monthly. They bill me every 2 months, but I break the bill up. Anyway, but you get the point, right? I'm looking at paying out another $500 or so just for yard shit and repairs, like the porch and shit. He's going to try and help me with this fucking leaky shit that goes on the porch. I'll have to pay for that. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't end up paying $1,000 by the time it's all said and done, people. Okay? So, And I want to go in with a good attitude. I don't want to go in with, I already got a chip on my shoulder, let's face it. Right? But I want to try and go in with a good disposition, right? So just putting it off till November makes sense. And the people that work with me with Amari, they're going to write some letter or something that I'm going to take to my doctor, which, now that I'm going to be going, and we know, because I've been needing to go anyway, I have to get eye referral people, right? I'll have them fill out the form. I'll pay the $250, right? I'll get my referral, right? Right? And then, like I said, people got it worse than me right? In terms of having a disabled child, right? So, this worked. So that's all pretty much it. So I'm just going to show you, and then we're going to end this video after this, right? And then we'll pick up with a new video with the end result after I'm all done this, right? We'll see. We've seen how big the box was, and then we're going to see how it fits into a jar. And I like this way for dehydrating, because I didn't lose too many nutrients. I really didn't, people. And this is cutting up quite nice. The cooler it gets, the easier it cuts, right? And yeah, like, this is like spot on. Oh yeah, one other thing. Now, I did phone the board director, tried to talk to him about, Pastor Granny and getting this kitchen, right? But he's always so busy, people, and I don't know, he's supposed to call me back. He hasn't called me back. I let him know what I wanted to talk to him about right now, because, she gets like that kind of, the big box of this, big box of that sometimes, and, it's just sitting outside, and this stuff, you gotta get up on it fast. And if you can't get up on it fast, it should go from cold room to cold room, fridge to fridge kind of thing, right? And I haven't given up hope on getting her a kitchen, but I'll tell you, it's so difficult to motivate people on this kind of stuff, right? So maybe if I just keep doing videos like this, people will see it's not as difficult as we think it is, in terms of, when the food comes in, you just process it, right? And work around whatever it is that's going on in your life, right?
Unfathomable to me and so many others.
So yeah, okay, I'll be back. Okay, maybe I'll end it on this. I just opened up this for Amari. I bought this in mind for Amari. Okay, can you see? Right? And it has 100 and... Oh, what did it say? 190 calories for 2 tablespoons. So in a situation like this, I'd give him 1 tablespoon, right? So then he'd get, right, half of that, eh? The only thing is, I see little bits of nuts in here. So I don't know how that's going to work. Although I'm thinking, this is higher in calories than peanut butter, if you're wondering why I bought it. Because again, I'm shopping for calories, okay, in different food groups, okay? Did I show you that I bought him this? Right? It's the bovine one. So he gets a half a scoop of this once a day now. Right? That's for his joints and collagen and all that stuff. Cartilage, right? You know? So, I'm going to do that. I've already opened it up and started using it. I just mix it in with his food. I could mix it in with juice if I wanted to, or milk. But. Okay, so this seems to be, I don't know what this tastes like. When I was doing those purple sweet potatoes, oh, those histamines, people. Oh. So let's see what it tastes like. Okay, here we go. See, I had nuts in there. I thought it was smooth. It was sticky. But I'm mixing it in with bran flakes that are with milk, right? And so it will blend up really nice. But there's a problem. It has little bits of nuts. And I don't know how well he'll deal with that. I was thinking that maybe it would be smooth, but so I don't know. The only other thing I can think of, I have this little blender machine, but I don't know how well that would blend that up. Put everything all together. I don't know, I'm going to try it because I need to break down those nuts a little bit. I don't think smashing it with a fork is going to be good enough. I think if I run it through this little chopper thing that I have, it's like becomes pureed more so, right? That's what I'm going to try, so hold on. Okay, still not done this video. So he likes peanut butter. I mix it in with his banana. Okay, but this what I'm giving him now is, it has more calories. Okay? It has more calories than peanut butter. Let's just put it that way. Only this is nutty. And I can't find the thing for that. So I'm having to do this by hand. Not that the other thing would work, but I have to try and, I don't want to stick my fingers in there and feel around, right? So if there's anything in there, I'm going to try and break it up. Because he won't know how to chew it, right? Because they just have little bits of nuts, real nuts in them, right? So, and then what I do is I'll just put it here, and then as I go, and there's half a banana in here, well, almost half a banana, right? It's almost half a banana, right? In here with the bran and the milk, and then he's got this, right? Alright, boost up. Yeah, just anyway, I think this might work. Hold on. Okay, because I need to put this stuff away because I did a little, shop, right? On Amazon, right? They're always flashing me this kind of stuff. Peanut butter powder. And this one is the almond, okay? I chose the almond one, people, because it has higher calorie content, Okay, it's higher than peanut butter. Powder, that is. Powder, because something like this you could put into long-term food storage, you know, for a few years anyway. So before I go off and buy a whole bunch, I wanted to try it first, right? So in this case, you're only getting 60% of the calories, right, to 2.5 tablespoons. Okay, this is powder form. So you're losing more than half in terms of calories if you do it this way versus this way. Because this one is 190. 190 for 2 tablespoons. Okay? Whereas peanut butter, okay, is only 90. Right? It's only 90 calories. Well, for 1 tablespoon. Okay? So 1 tablespoon is, oh my God, 90. So it's 180 for 2 tablespoons. This one is, for 2 tablespoons, I never noticed that when I was reading up, 190. So, they're, I guess you can say equal, peanut butter and almond butter at 2 tablespoons. This one comes in at 190 calories and this one comes in at 180 calories. Whereas if you get it in powder form, you're only getting 60 calories and you have to have 2.5 tablespoons. But in the case of an emergency, in terms of food storage, it's nice to have this on hand, right? So before I go off and buy, say, 6 containers or something like that, I would try it out first, because ultimately I'm looking for the higher calorie count. And then we've got this guy here, right? Because Andre loves peanut butter. He eats it all the time. This one is, again, 90 calories for 1 tablespoon. Okay? So there's, I guess, I didn't notice it at the time. Because, again, I don't follow up on calories. But they're equal in calories, really. So I guess this is more like a taste preference versus, or maybe digestive, I don't know. I don't know how almonds digest different than peanuts, but either or, I bought this more in mind for Amari, based on the calories. But now that I realize that 1 tablespoon of this is the same as peanut butter, yeah, is the same as peanut butter, it's more cost effective to buy peanut butter versus buy this for the same amount of calories. So I learned something today. Okay? So now that I've mashed this up, that's the almond, right? I'm just going to mix it in with that. And then it will take away that stickiness for him. And I pretty much mashed up whatever I could in terms of any nut that I seen. So it should be fine, because it will be coated with the cereal, right? Oh boy. I got my milk powder delivered. So now I have to do the eggs and the milk powder. I gotta get these peas downstairs and go find some more jars. Although with the milk powder, I'm going to use, I'm waiting for them to come in the mail too. I'm pretty sure it's the milk powder. To absorb moisture. Right? I don't know, people. So there, this is how I do it. Well, now we're really going to end this video. See? And then just blend it in. And he likes it. Right? See? Now it's good for him. Okay, the other thing too that I look at is this stuff. Almond butter has more, right? It has the calcium at 8%, and it has the iron at 8%. Whereas peanut butter, calcium is 1%. Where am I? There we go. Here it says potassium, 2%. And here it says iron at 2%. Whereas this peanut butter, they got no A, no C, no calcium for whatever reason, and only 2%. So now you know why I bought this. Okay? Not only am I looking at calories, but I'm also looking at what type of vitamins and minerals and that type of thing is in there as well, right? And by the way, what I just made, he likes it. He's eating it. He's almost done, okay?